Hi, Boomer.
Hi, good morning, everybody. You guys must be happy up there.
Do we have a nice, juicy quarterback controversy on our hands this week, finally?
Yeah, why the hell not, man? Nothing like sports controversies like quarterback questions for local radio talk show hosts. So, yeah, we kind of love them. But, hey, look, say what you want. Bailey Zappe played a fabulous game yesterday. And again, this defense for the New England Patriots goes under the radar. And I know last week Bill Belichick was talking about seeing the best running game and all these different formations that they were going to see from the Browns. And I have to tell you, now I don't know how big this Christian Barmore injury is going to turn out to be, but, that defense put on a clinic as well. And all Bailey Zappe's doing, a kid out of Western Kentucky University, is showing unbelievable poise, accuracy, and I cannot believe how he just looks so comfortable in the pocket. So I guess Matt Patricia knows how to call plays after all.
Well, I was gonna I brought that up earlier with Christopher Curtis, and there was a lot of negativity around Matt Patricia. How much of what Bailey Zappe has been able to do could Mac be doing, and how much of that is on Matt Patricia? And does the world owe Matt Patricia an apology?
Well, we got a long way to go. They got 11 games to go. And I thought before Mac Jones got hurt in the Baltimore game, he was in the midst of having one of his best games. I just physically looked at him and I saw a different player that I had seen, kind of coming into that game. And this is the perfect coaching situation for Coach Belichick. He'll make it tough on Mac Jones. He's going to want to see if he can handle this. Mac's not oblivious to what's being said out there, what's being written, or oblivious to what his eyes are showing him, what Bailey Zappe has done here the last 2 weeks, especially yesterday. I mean, throwing over 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, looking like a quarterback who's been in the league for 10 years. So I give him a tremendous amount of credit. The coach I'm talking about, Matt Patricia, getting Bailey Zappe ready. But Bailey Zappe must have that really, really important ingredient, that personality trait, to go out there and feel confident in yourself, knowing that you can get the job done.
Speaking of those who criticize Bill from time to time around here, the knock on him has been his GM abilities draft-wise. If you look at Jack Jones, Bailey Zappe, Cole Strange, maybe Tyquan Thornton, potentially, don't you have to say he had a pretty good draft this year?
I would say he did, but I also say, he went to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback last year. The year before that, it was the whole Cam Newton experiment and all that other nonsense. But, look, he's out-coached, both Stefanski and Campbell on back-to-back weekends. And it's unbelievable. I sit there with Coach Cowher, and he's just like, look at what he's doing here. Look what he's doing there. Look at this defensive adjustment. Look at how they're using Bailey Zappe. I mean, it really does come down to ultimately the guy who's running the show. And this is one of the reasons why he'll go down, in my estimation, as the greatest coach of all time, given the fact of when he's doing this and how they're winning and who they're winning with. Tom Brady's not here. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but still, you wake up today and you say to yourself, these were two dominating performances back to back. Now, I know it was Detroit and Cleveland. They still get paid like everybody else in the NFL. They are as dysfunctional as it comes in the NFL. But nonetheless, this rookie quarterback, this defense, and special teams are all showing up on the stat sheet in important spots.
Boomer, when you look at us Patriots fans, how happy should we be when we look at Buffalo and Kansas City, and they look like they're the cream of the crop, but everybody else looks like kind of hot garbage. But it looks like New England has the best coaching when you talk about comparing everybody in that AFC to potentially making a run for the postseason. How happy should we be as fans to know that we have Bill Belichick coaching this football team?
Well, he's your guy, man. He's the guy that's going to be in the Canton when he decides to retire, first ballot Hall of Fame. We all know that, but I think you're right, Wiggy, when you say Buffalo and Kansas City, but really Buffalo right now stands head and shoulders above everybody else. I mean, the game that Josh Allen had yesterday, especially the second half, was just amazing. He does things on the field that some players could do part of what he does, and then other players could do other parts of what he does, but very few, if any, that have ever played the position can do everything that he is turning out to do, and that's running with the ball and throwing it. And this touchdown pass to Dawson Knox yesterday was a thing of beauty. But then, later on, I think it may have been either a little bit before or later on, he hops over a defensive
he's vaulting guys.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It looked like Saquon Barkley there, for God's sake. So, I mean, look, we got a long way to go. Even the Jets are 4-2, and their defense looks dominating now. They just absolutely swarmed all over Aaron Rodgers yesterday. I look like the Colts are going to be a decent team. The Bengals are starting to wake up, and Joe Burrow's played really well the last 2 weeks. So, this is about the time of year where we're going to start to see, the really good teams start to separate themselves.
When Buffalo went for it on 4th down in the first half, is that all analytics, Boomer?
I don't know if it's analytics, but I know it tells me that they recognize who they're playing against. So a lot of times these coaches go for things when they shouldn't be going for it. So if I'm playing a rookie quarterback or a quarterback like a Jacoby Brissett or a Midland quarterback like Marcus Mariota, the last thing I want to do is not come away with points on drives, depending on where we are in the game. So every situation is determined by, who you're playing against, where you're playing them, what are the elements that you're playing in, and quite frankly, how is your own team playing? So you could take all these analytics in, but I always want to rely on the coach's experience to make the ultimate decisions. And, we were talking about this yesterday. John Harbaugh has made some really bad decisions this year that has cost his team games, and then tries to explain it via the analytic model. And I'm just like, I pay you because you're supposed to be one of the best coaches that has the pulse of the game, the pulse of your team. So while analytics helps, I still think experience will trump that, and decisions should be made as to how the game is unfolding. So if I am on the road in Kansas City and I know I'm playing against Patrick Mahomes and he's most likely going to put up anywhere between 27 and 34 points, I have to go for it every chance I have because I can't just expect my defense to hold on for 4 quarters.
Boomer, Bailey Zappe's stat line aside, the rumor mill in New England is that Mac Jones just isn't buying into the system, and that's the reason why the coaching staff is not making it clear whether or not he's the starting quarterback once he's healthy. Have you ever been in a locker room where you've seen guys who aren't buying in, who are making it a situation for coaches, but also getting other guys, teammates of theirs, to question coaching decisions, and that's a reason why a guy could lose their job?
Well, I hope that's not the case, Courtney. I don't. In 1995, I was a 34-year-old player, and I was playing for a coach whose offensive system made absolutely no sense whatsoever to me. So I'm thinking that the rest of these Mensa members on my football team were really having a hell of a hard time understanding the offensive system and what their responsibilities were. As a matter of fact, the 1995 Jets were a lot like that electric football where you had the players on the and Courtney probably doesn't know this, Greg.
No,
I was
she doesn't.
4,
So maybe you could show her a YouTube video of this. So there's 22 guys that are on an electric vibrating football field. You turn on the
she
switch
gets that
and
part.
Okay.
She just lit up over here, Boomer.
All right. And the guys all start going in different ways. And that's the way the Jets were, and I never bought into that nonsense, and I didn't buy into who was teaching it. I didn't trust what all these rules were in our playbook. So sometimes that happens, but I cannot believe that Mac Jones, who led his team to the playoffs, that is only in his second year, would have any sort of cachet that would lead anybody to believe or think that he would be able to sit there in a Bill Belichick meeting room and question the coaches. That seems so off base to me and so ridiculous. And I'm sure Mac is, if in fact had any question about this offense, all he has to do is look at how Bailey Zappe's running it, and I'm sure Bill Belichick will have a lot of fun with this over the next few weeks.
Not referring to any specific individual, Boomer, but would you be pissed if your starting quarterback went to a wedding and then yelled at you on the sidelines?
Well, okay. I didn't get invited to the wedding, and I live right around the corner, so I was a little disappointed. But I wouldn't have won anyway because I have NFL Today on Sunday, and I want to be with my teammates. How's that sound?
That sounds like a good answer. So no comments on Tom Brady.
I'm just happy for Bob Kraft, but it's kind of look. He's Tom Brady. He's 45 years old. He can do whatever he wants. He can fly a private jet anywhere in a moment's notice. Like you and I could drive 2 hours to a wedding and it wouldn't be a problem. He can fly 2 hours to a wedding and the next morning get up and meet his team in Pittsburgh. So, there's certain rules for certain people, and I think Tom probably has built up enough goodwill throughout the NFL to be able to do whatever he wants on his phone on a Friday night.
Plus,
But just to be clear, if for those who are interested in was it Bill or was it Tom, Bill's team went down there and beat those Steelers.
Yep.
Tom did not, right? So if we're keeping track of that, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you should have some fun with it too. Certainly, I would be. It'd be like the lead up there in Boston for my radio show. That's all I can tell you. And by the way, Bill Belichick, I'm sure was invited. And I'm assuming that he decided to politely decline and say, I got a football team to run, and we got to go to Pittsburgh and go win a football game.
Yeah,
still has to send a
gift.
a gift though.
Yeah. Well, I guess David Andrews and Matthew Slater didn't have that same feeling because they showed up.
Hey, do you know what, Boomer? Do you know what Wiggy got Mr. Kraft for his wedding?
No, I can't wait to hear this.
A beautiful cutting board that he had.
I know he likes cutting boards and he likes to re-gift things.
I got him the same thing he got me when he sent me the invitation. Was nothing.
Nothing. There you go. I like it.
Boom. When you look at this Patriots team, I think the one similarity that I would compare them to the Buffalo Bills on watching this game and seeing last night's game against Kansas City is their ability to create pressure, especially with Judon and Dedrick Wise, similar to what you see Buffalo doing with Von Miller and their front four. How important is it to have a defense that can really create pressure without having to send extra guys? Very similar to what we're seeing in Buffalo. You talk about them, but also what we're seeing here in New England.
You know what, Wiggy, is probably the most after quarterback and maybe left tackle. It's probably the most important dynamic to have on any football team. And this is exactly why Buffalo went to go get Von Miller. He not only had 2 sacks yesterday, but on the final interception, he was the one that caused Patrick Mahomes to move to his right and then throw a really bad interception at the wrong time. So there's no question everybody's trying to get those double pass rushers. The other thing, too, that really was obvious to me yesterday, and I've been saying it all year long, that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat predominantly 95% of the teams that they play. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is. But when they finally meet their match, and their match in the AFC right now is Buffalo that can go toe-to-toe with them offensively, this is the game where you see how much they miss Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is such a game-changing player and influences defenses in so many different ways that, he's a guy that can score on one play, just give him the ball. And it's one of the reasons why I think, Patrick is having a great year, but he's not getting the big plays out of the offense that they normally get simply because they're missing a guy like Tyreek Hill. So Von Miller paid dividends yesterday and did exactly what he was supposed to do, and that's why they signed him as a free agent. And Tyreek Hill missing from the Kansas City Chiefs, to me at least, is pretty obvious how hard it is going to be for them to create those big plays that they had been creating when he was there.
Question of the week for Boomer is brought to you by McFarland Energy, the always reliable HVAC and home oil delivery pros at McFarlandEnergy.com. And Pats get the Bears this week. I'll ask this for Wiggy. Would you rather right now your quarterback is Justin Fields or Mac Jones?
Without question, Mac Jones is not even close.
I'll take Bailey Zappe.
Yeah, you can take Bailey Zappe too. That's not. I swear, it's not even close. I mean, poor Justin. I feel bad for this kid because last year he's drafted. Everybody's excited about him in Chicago, and then they fire the coach and GM, and they bring in another new coach, another offense, another GM, and this is why these teams are dysfunctional and they can never get out of their own way. So. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears are looking for another quarterback in the draft next year.
Boomer, I know we already talked about the Jets a little bit, but we see them twice in the next 5 weeks. Before the season, we had them in the win column. I think, Wiggy, you and I both had them, the Pats beating them both times. Now, should we slow our roll, or are we just getting too high on them after the win yesterday?
No, I would slow your roll a little bit. I mean, they are nobody here expected them to be this good either, except for themselves. Rob Saleh was taking receipts about 4 weeks ago and things of that nature. They finally got a little attitude. I mean, they're not as buttoned up as the Patriots. I will say that there's still few loose ends, but they have some players that are playing at an extremely high level. Their running game is about as good as there is in the NFL. Their defensive line has played fantastic. So. I can't wait to see them against the Patriots. I mean, Chicago should be a game that the Patriots win at home. And then come the New York Jets that next Sunday, October 30th, the last Sunday in October. So I can't wait to see that game to see exactly where the Jets truly stack up. I mean, it's great. It's a great morning here in New York because both football teams are relevant. Both football teams are winning. And both football teams have a youthful exuberance about them that is pretty fun to watch.
Boomer, thanks for taking the time as always. We'll talk to you.
All right, guys. Talk to you next week. Have a great week.
All right. See you, Boomer.
See you guys.